I did not find anyone that could speak about Databricks as in, you know, when you're speaking with a friend or something like that. And so upon that, I thought of myself, well, let's fill that small gap and start talking a little bit about Databricks in that sense. So the first thing you got to know about Databricks is that if you look for it in your browser or something else, then you'll find this. Uh, and it'll say something as in the database your AI agents deserve. Everyone's just right now it's just throwing around the AI word in order to grab a little bit of attention, but um, I'm not quite sure that's the best description for the platform up until this moment. Um, Another thing you got to know about Databricks is that aside from they not describing themselves in the land page, well, they are the right now the leaders of the Magic Quadrant of AI platforms, as per 2026 for the Gartner analysis, and the Gartner Charter, Magic Charter. Um, it's also based on the lake-based architecture for data, and yeah. So having all this information thrown around, then what really is Databricks? Databricks, first off, is a platform. Okay, it's a platform. What does this platform have? It helps you with the UI. It also has, it kind of works as well as a wrapper of Apache Spark, and it helps you. Wait. I need to throw this. Helps you organize your data. Okay, and so having like in the present, lots of sources of data. You can have CSV files, or you can also have JSON files around. Um, what Databricks helps us with is to use all this unstructured data, which can also be the Avro format is another format for streaming. You can also have, a structured data. Um, and so having different sources of data on an enterprise, which, all of this data is generated sometimes by applications or third parties, just like, I'm not quite sure whether the United States still uses this software, but in Latin America it's pretty common, the SAP software, um, as well. Several ERPs, maybe logs from Odoo, or if you're having an architecture of, let's say, different containers or an orchestration with Kubernetes, um, then I'm not quite sure. I remember there was, I think Docker file, well, Docker, Docker containers, they have a specific, um, a very, very specific folder. I'm not quite sure what the file path was, which has the logs. Whenever you mount something on Kubernetes, and when I'm speaking about Kubernetes, it can be the Google engine, or we can also speak about the EKS service for AWS. All of these information that's unwrapped, that's unstructured, you might want to do several things with it. Okay, and if you don't do like a process of structuring it into tables. Usually the architecture that was before utilizing Databricks was the data warehouse architecture, which is basically grabbing all these sources, then utilizing a. Okay, I'm sorry, I was pressing. Okay, so basically, if you wanted to grab all this data and a long time ago. I mean, there's still a lot of people utilizing it. Um, you'd have to use several tools and an architecture of data named the data warehouse. Okay. There's actually a book that I do find very interesting on this. I think it's not sure, Discovering Data Architectures from O'Reilly. It talks a little bit about deciphering. Okay, this one's really good. It really talks about how data warehouses were born, how data lake houses were born, and what other structures and what other architectures of data exist in the current present. And so the data warehouse is an architecture which helps you, well, it's more of a schema that helps you grab all of these sources of data that you have from, let's say, different softwares, extract, transform, and load it into a very specific schema that can be either a snowflake, uh, snowflake schema, which is this one, okay, or a star schema, which is this one you can find here. I'm not really sure. I don't like these types of diagrams. I'm more of an ERD person. Um, and so what Databricks brings us is, okay, you don't have to do this whole thing of grabbing all the sources, configuring every single one of them. You can just utilize our platform with our connectors and then run several engines on top of it. So one of the engines is Apache Spark for computing, and the other one is, okay, it utilizes Apache Spark, remember? Apache Spark runs over JVMs. JVMs specifically utilize a language, actually, that's named Scala. Scala, what Scala does is that it goes directly and generates bytecode. Okay? Scala is a pretty weird language. Actually, you can see um, this symbol right here. That's the logo of Scala. It's a language that's very similar to Haskell in the sense that you can write functions. Okay, give me a second. Haskell, and it as well works as an OOP language. So um, Lambda and OOP. It really turns out that people that made Apache Spark, they thought of Scala as the very basic language for it, as it was, I think, I'm not sure, the only language at the time that could serialize Lambda functions. Um, and therefore, it made it faster to compile and grab a bunch of data into it. Okay, so now that we know that Databricks is a platform, it's a platform that you can host also as well. You can host this platform in Azure. You can use AWS, or I'm not sure if Huawei Cloud is available in the United States right now. Um, Databricks works as a platform that can run on all of these clouds, and it can also utilize sources from all of these clouds as well. So let's say you have your files, you have your beautiful files or your logs from, um, okay, you have an application, third-party application. No, maybe an application that runs on Kubernetes. And let's say it's the EKS service for AWS. Um, this one generates lots of logs daily. It generates logs of, I'm not sure, maybe crashing or, okay, well, crashing or uh, access, whatever. Okay? So, this information usually is stored, if I'm not quite sure right now, but I think it's stored in a JSON format. Aside from that, you may have SAP, and you're exporting all data day to day into Excel files. Okay? What you might do with this is that the platform and Databricks will help you with this first off with the connectors. You will have connectors that, okay, wait. Oh, I didn't know this. Okay, so you'll have connectors that uh-huh. How do I draw like a stroke? Oh, I have it here. Okay, so all this information can go here and can go here. And Databricks will, what it'll help you with is to explore the data to transform it, and then maybe load it into a data warehouse or load it into what we call the lakehouse architecture. Lakehouse architecture. So when speaking about data, as we saw before with deciphering data architectures, okay, there are several ways to grab data and put it, like move it around. And depending on what is your goal, then you choose, one of these architectures. Uh, of course, I've spoken to you about the data warehouse for now, but the data lake house is, say, an architecture that's based around the medallion model, which says, okay, I don't care what your data is based off. A data lake house will, in fact, utilize unstructured data and work with it. So, if you have structured data, as in, let's say, tables or different sources from different databases that are structured databases, then you'd use a data warehouse. If you have non-structured data, then you'd go for a service that will serve as a data lake. Okay, so um, if you think of the S3 bucket, okay, an S3 bucket, it has unstructured data. It the data itself can be CSV, it can be it may be Excel files. Well, it can be we can have all of these things in the buckets as well. Also, you can, if you're not an AWS person, you can think of the blob storage. Um, okay, so all of this is non-structured data. When we're talking about pictures, when we're talking about files, when we're talking about videos, all of that is non-structured data. Okay, structured data on the other side, that when information comes from different tables, when information is already, it already has an schema itself, and it turns out that it first, the data warehouse was a way to fulfill all of that data into some place, and then we can consume it for analytics and machine learning and business intelligence. Um, then what happened is that people started using what we call data lakes, which was this place where you could just throw all the unstructured data and then somehow transform it and well, bring it to a data warehouse, or I don't know. What Databricks brought to the table was a mixture of these two things, which was the data lakehouse. Okay, so a data lakehouse is really cool. It's an architecture that lets you query unstructured data with SQL. And so all of this that I've told you about, it is materialized through this UI that you can see here. So today we're going to explore the UI. Um, First off, the very first thing that you got to see in the left side is the navbar, where you have a workspace. Also, another thing that Databricks does, which I haven't told you about, is that it has a space for notebooks. Okay, you can, whenever you're using or you're transforming unstructured data, you'd probably have utilized data frames, which are from pandas. Uh, if you don't know what pandas is, it's a library for Python um, that helps you. Well, it helps you. Um, uh, it's a library of Python that helps you transform data and also have basic statistics with it. Okay, so data frames are the equivalent for Excel files, and a data frame is an object that can, well, it has functions that let lets you explore the Excel file from code. Okay, so um, they thought of this platform itself that it would also need notebooks. And so these notebooks are very special notebooks in the sense that they can run queries, they can run Spark, and they can run Markdown. So as you can tell here, this is my workspace. By the way, this is the users. Every user has like its own arranged files. And if we go into the intro to Apache Spark and then go to ETL processes, then you'd see that I have this magic command, which is, well, whenever you place this, this is called a magic command. Um, and now I'm using SQL. Okay, and this cell, it uses SQL, but this one is not using SQL. This one's using the command of file system, which is well, the very same as if I'd run bash. I can run as well Python code here. Let's just see. Uh, here it says the default one is Python. You can also run Scala itself. Okay, so if we go and put Python here, which is not necessary, but only to show you, hi, hi, databricks course, then you'll be able to run, and it'll run here. It'll run over the Apache Spark, well, mm, the Apache Spark compute. Okay, so since it's a platform that first lets you grab all your data and then put it somewhere, um, you're gonna know a few things as well, which is the Databricks unique catalog. Okay, so um, we gotta understand that this is a client. Okay, the UI that we have here, it's a client, and it needs to connect to sources or sources of compute. So the first one, um, Databricks actually has serverless compute, which is native for a Databricks platform, but we also have dedicated compute, which may be this one, general compute, which can go for your existing cloud provider. Okay, so um, we have the control plane, which is where I'm running all these processes. The control plane has um, notebooks. It as well has some, well, the Unity catalog, which is something I'll go further into, and all this runs over delta tables, which is a special type of table that Databricks, let's say it's the way Databricks understands all the data. Doesn't matter if it's unstructured or structured. Delta tables are what you utilize usually around here. Okay, so oh my God, no, that was a class session. I'm sorry, I was asking something about Spark. Anyway, we have the control plane, and then we have the compute, which may be, let's say, your AWS S3 bucket plus well, these are the machines that are going to themselves do the computing. So we can have several virtual machines. Okay, these virtual machines can be from AWS or Azure or whichever cloud provider you have, and that's the fixed computing rate. Okay, you can also, this can also be fixed. Okay, you can have a limit of usage, and the thing is, here, let's put it here, that you can also have flexible compute or serverless. Okay, which is the one that Databricks uh, puts in the table. So let's explore the UI. I think this is enough for now. Scale the code base. Okay. So first off, you have uh, the workspace part where you'll find all the notebooks that your mates and yourself are working with. Right now, I don't have any grips, but myself, I've been working towards first off the configuration and Metastore, and the ETL process that's being brought by, well, if you see here, okay, this one's an ETL process that I'm running through some data that's in Azure right now. Um, as you can tell, I can select. By the way, this is a file. These are unstructured files. I can use the SQL for unstructured data, which you can find in catalog. And the catalog itself, it shows us with different schemas, which are databases, and those schemas have volumes. A volume is a set of files. And so if we go here into operational, this is connected through my Azure account, and all these files are in a container blob storage. And if I go here into addresses, then you can find well, this type of file. Let's go. Let's just click here, customers, and we'll find the JSON files, and you see that these are JSON files from created users into a system. Okay, so all of this information right now it's on a blob storage. There's a tutorial and there are several steps to connect, Databricks with your cloud. Right now, I won't go into those details. Um, but the thing you gotta know is schemas are this ones. Volumes are into schemas. Okay, so if we have a database, then you'd have a set of files connected to that database. So right now, what I've done so far is that I wanted to create an ETL process connected to these files. You can tell that there's landing, which files go into. We can also have the bronze, the gold, and okay, we have the bronze, silver, and gold. Okay, bronze, silver, and gold, which are the three stages of the medallion architecture. And all of these, you can create tables in them with several commands. Okay. Aside from that, you can also run jobs and pipelines for transformation that can be based off the notebooks that you write here in your workspace. The Unity catalog basically is normalized. Let's say, well, I told you before that we have all these structured files and as well sometimes structured data. Let's put here structured data, structured data. What the Unity catalog does is that it normalizes all of this first stuff into, I gotta say, Unity catalog. It normalizes all of this into stuff you can query. Stuff you can query. That means that you can run a select from a CSV file, a JSON format, or you can also, well, attach a database. Um, Aside from stuff that you can query, you can create views and transform. All of this transform all of this data, and as well, you can work through notebooks and high computing when you need it. So the Unity catalog itself, it normalizes all of this into delta tables, okay? Which is the very basic structure of Databricks, delta table. Um, I do like a lot the symbol that they chose for this one, delta table. Okay, no, Databricks. Oh, okay, there you go. They are the very basic of it. Okay, so Apache Spark, Delta tables, Apache Spark. Well, it's you might know it as a way. Apache Spark is basically like a Kubernetes control plane. Kubernetes control plane. Where, for example, if you want to just show your containers or you show your pods, you'd go kubectl, then something over here. Um, Apache Spark is basically the same, but for computing in Python. And so if instead of running something in the CLI, you actually type code in Python, and then um, well, it manages your instances and your workers. Okay, so um, this is the Unity catalog itself. It has non-structured data and it has structured data. If we go to the compute, uh, the section, you can find that we can have SQL warehouses. Currently, I have a session for serverless computing, and as well, we can have lake bases or the AI search, which is uh, well, the I'm not quite sure. Let me remember this. This one's the vector storage. Okay. And yeah, that's basically where I'm going with. During this video, I think it lasted more than 30 minutes, but um, basically, Databricks is a platform that helps you organize everything you have. And when I speak about everything, we can talk about everything. Actually, if I go here into the marketplace, then we can have all the connectors as well. I'll just put AWS. I'll type AWS here, and we might come out. Okay, let me check in compute catalog sources, compute recents catalog. I think I'm not sure. Wait, the connectors was. If I go here into the catalog and I go into connect external locations, then you'll find that these are my connectors for Azure. Um, as well, we can also add connectors from the marketplace, as I remember. Let me check because I'm not sure. Oh yeah, you can connect it to DVT and more sources, just like Salesforce, if I'm not sure. Yeah, you can use Salesforce data, and well, that's basically it for now. Let's think of it as a platform that helps you organize everything, and that it works with Apache Spark. It works with Apache Spark. It runs over JVMs itself, and it's usually connected to your cloud. If you have an Azure subscription, let's see my Azure subscription for now. Um, you'd have to look for Databricks deployment. AWS as well. It has this deployment of Databricks. Let's go here and we'll type Databricks, and you'll find Azure Databricks. Okay, and I have an instance of Databricks running here attached to resource group, which it can access to. Aside from that, you can also do it on AWS, which I'm not going into the details right now because I don't have the credentials because they banned me over the usage of several stuff without paying of it. But anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and maybe we'll talk in the next lecture.